government needs to do. The government needs to start addressing the fact that this is happening. It could happen to any other. So that's a really big ruling in our favour. So we're very pleased and are hoping that we can use that to push the government to do an awful lot more. One of the things that is quite striking is that whereas the UN has criticised strongly Nazanin's treatment, no British government official has ever criticised the way she's been treated or criticised the case or ever called for her release. And I think now if the UN's willing to make that stand, then the UK should as well. In truth, it's bewildering. So, I mean, I guess it's one of those points where diplomacy is a bit more complicated than as a layman I understand. It seems to me it's obvious that if you hold a mother and a baby and you sentence them for secret charges, then surely you can criticise that. That is just a breach of human rights on so many levels. Why they don't is a question that the government would need to answer. And that whereas the British government hasn't ever expressed clearly any criticism of... Well, I'm calling on the Foreign Secretary to intervene, so Boris Johnson. I'd like him to personally raise a case to make it clear that it is unacceptable how she's being treated and to make it clear that these sort of allegations that were put around before that she was some British spy and involved in the overthrow of the regime, nonsense, all nonsense, and it needs to be said. It's for her family, and I've been in touch with her family as I am with others. So Nazanin's been allowed to call me 4 times since she was held. She was allowed to call me actually since she's been sentenced. So last Tuesday she had a phone call, and yeah, she was pretty angry, which is a good sign in a way. Before she was very upset. So she was angry that there was another prisoner that was held at the same time, a Canadian Homo Hudfar, who was released last week, and she was like, well, listen, why am I still being held here? Her case was more complicated. We've got an embassy and they don't have an embassy in Canada. And look, I've got a baby. Why am I still being held here? That anger is coming from a good place. It shows there's still some fight in her.
Other countries like Germany and Mexico have brought cases to the International Court of Justice in The Hague on these types of issues in relation to consular relations. There's absolutely nothing barring the United Kingdom government from taking forward a legal strategy which may culminate in a case to the International Court of Justice for the violation of consular rights.
I live about 5 minutes from where Nazanin, Richard and Gabriella live in West. 750,000 people signed a petition urging that Nazanin is released and returned home. Along with Richard, his parents, Monique and people from Change.org, we went to number 10 and we handed in the petition on Theresa May's first day as Prime Minister of this country. We have yet to receive a response from her.